YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with Sprayer Splash Fragrance Reviews, and today I'm going to be giving my suggestions for 6 fragrances I would go with to start my fragrance collection. If you're interested in finding out what those fragrances are, please stay tuned. So I know the concept has been done, but this video is simply me reaching out to the guy who maybe has had a fragrance here or there, never really invested in getting his own fragrance collection, and maybe is at a point in his life where he says, I'm going to invest in that and start to build me a fragrance wardrobe. What are some fragrances that are going to cover all my bases? All right, so I kind of thought long and hard about this, and I came up with these 6 fragrances. Now, for the enthusiasts, this video is not for you. You know about these fragrances. You probably already got these fragrances in your collection. But for the guy, again, who's just starting, these are, I think, really, really good suggestions. Now, I kind of liken this to somebody who maybe like is starting to build a music collection. They may think the same thing, like, where exactly do I start? Somebody who is well versed in that is going to probably give them landmark albums to pick up. Like, these are the albums that you should have, spanning multiple decades. Hey, you should have songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Maybe you should have Thriller. Maybe you should have this album by Led Zeppelin. Maybe you should have this album by Metallica, Nirvana, 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Sade. They're going to be hitting the big albums. Bob Marley, Barbra Streisand, whoever it is, they're going to pull these landmark albums and say, this is where you start, and you can kind of build from there. So a lot of the fragrances I'm going to recommend, again, are fragrances that everybody knows about in FragCom, but these are really solid pieces that you can use to build your collection. All right, so the first fragrance is one that everybody's familiar with, but it's got 3 different versions. I prefer this version the most, and this is from the house of Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Now, I prefer the Parfum the most because it, to me, is the darkest, deepest, sexiest version of the fragrance, the most grown up version of the fragrance. Now, this is a all-purpose, like a everyday driver type fragrance. You can wear this for every single situation. A lot of folks are going to say the fragrance is boring, but it is a foundational piece. This fragrance is called Blue, and for those who maybe don't know, blue is supposed to represent like the color and maybe even like a watery type note. And there are different variations of that. I mean, it can get into the marine where it's more of a salty seaweed type thing. This one is just more, think of the color like a dark blue and kind of like a fresh and clean type vibe. That's what the fragrance is. I mean, when I smell it, I get like grapefruit. There's a little bit of mint, a little bit of lavender. You get some woods in the base. Pretty fresh, clean, but so classy and elegant. And the Parfum, to me, hits the best out of the 3. If you're looking for one that's going to push more and be a little more bold, I'd probably go with the EDT, which was the original. But I really think the Parfum version is the one to go with. So again, from the house of Bleu de Chanel, this is not from the house of Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel, and this is the Parfum version. You can get this one for about like $150. So every fragrance I'm recommending is for the most part at about $100 or less. This is the one that's over that price point. And I think the 6, again, are going to hit just right for you. Next up is one from the house of Brioni. This is Brioni EDP Intense. This is one of my favorite releases of like the last 2 years. I say this fragrance is a daily driver fragrance. You can wear it in every single setting. I personally think it's a better fragrance for dressing up than dressing down. But again, you can do with this fragrance as you please. This fragrance is one that focuses on the note of apple. A lot of guys may think apple is not, it's a fruity note, and maybe it's something that you may not think of as being a very, very masculine note, because a lot of times it's done with other notes that surround it that make it kind of feminine. But this apple is, in my opinion, I think apple by itself is kind of a gender neutral note. The way they did this, they kind of balanced it where it's got like a little bit of oud, it's got some pepper. I can't say if it's real oud, but it's really balanced, and it's got a nice woody base and just enough brightness on the top. And it's not beast mode. The Brioni fragrances tend to sit closer to the skin. I mean, they do give a nice scent trail, but they're not beastly fragrances, but they just exude class. And this is another fragrance that I think would be a great like baseline type fragrance that you can build from. And for the most part, everybody's going to enjoy this fragrance on you. You know, I can't say for certain, but it's pretty bad. The batting average is pretty high. So second up, from the house of Brioni, Brioni EDP Intense. Third is a fragrance from the house of Hermes. This is Terre de Hermes EDT. This is the original of the Terre de Hermes fragrances. This bottle is a little different. This is like the special H edition. There's nothing different about the fragrance. This bottle is just a special edition version. You can just get the basic EDT. It's the same thing. This is another extremely successful fragrance. Some may say basic, but trust me, guys, this is another all-purpose fragrance, daily driver. It's going to work in every single setting. It's kind of like this orange citrus fragrance. It's got this muskiness with it, with a nice woody base. And it's also got like a slight like flint note in it that I get on my skin. There's more to it than that, but that's basically what you get. And it is just classy and so versatile. You can get this fragrance under $100. I highly recommend it. This fragrance has been out since I think 2006 or 7, something like that. So you may have smelled this before and not even known it, but it's definitely one that I think you could have as a base fragrance in your collection that would work in every single scenario. From the house of Hermes, Terre de Hermes EDT. This is number 4 of the 6 fragrances. This is a fragrance that is for after hours, after work, evening, going out, that type of fragrance. It is one that is masculine and focuses on the note of tobacco. From the house of Frank Beauclerc, this is tobacco. This is an incredible bang for your buck tobacco fragrance. You can get this fragrance under $100. I want to say like in the $60 to $70 range. Trust me, it's like I would say like a cherry pipe tobacco type feel. It's got a note of plum. It's got vanilla in the base. I mean, this is so warm, so cozy, inviting, and it's got a lot of legs. This is a fragrance that's going to last and last and last, and it's going to be very well received. It's hard to beat this one for what you pay, and this is a great, I guess, fragrance to start if you are into tobacco and want to go down that road. This would be a great way to start it. From the house of Frank Beauclerc, tobacco. Extremely attractive fragrance from the house of Cartier. This is Pasha de Cartier Parfum. Some of you that may be a little older may recognize this bottle because they did have an EDT version of this fragrance that came out, I want to say early 90s to mid 90s. And they've kind of changed this one around a little bit. This one is really boozy. It's got sandalwood in the base. It's got a little bit of vanilla. It's got a fir accord, but it's just after hours goodness. And again, price point is killer. I think a lot of folks would be surprised at how good this fragrance smells. This is a great fragrance for dates. You could even wear it to work, more formal settings. I just would maybe pull back on spray some. I don't always know if an extremely boozy fragrance is a good look for work, but this is just an amazing smelling fragrance overall, and one that, you know, would work for a lot of guys that like masculine, boozy fragrances. And hey, for this price point, you can't beat it. So again, from the house of Cartier, this is Pasha de Cartier, and make sure it is the Parfum. Last but not least, from the house of Guerlain, this is IDL Extreme. This is a killer date night fragrance. You're not going to run across a lot of guys wearing this fragrance. For those that are not familiar with this particular line, they've got, I don't know, 7 to 10 fragrances that focus on the note of almond. And it's kind of like they focus on that slight like cherry facet of almond. And with this particular one, it's got like a nice bright citrus opening, but then it's got like plum in addition to the almond. It's got a little hint of tobacco, a little bit of leather, a little cedar. I mean, this is just really, really nice. Now, it's not beastly. Nice scent trail, but not beastly. So to me, it's like a 5-6 max hour fragrance on your skin, with the first like hour and a half with it's kind of projecting, but then it kind of comes in close, which is perfect for a date. You want to draw somebody in, and this note, the note of almond and the note of plum, is going to do that. Extremely well done. You can get this one under $100. I don't think you can go wrong with it. So those are my 6. I think these are a great, I guess, starting point for anyone looking to build a collection. Guys, let me know, what are some of the fragrances you would use or recommend to someone looking to start a fragrance collection? I really love to hear what you guys think about it. As always, I thank you for coming back and checking the channel. If you've never subscribed, I'd ask you to do that and give me a thumbs up if you choose to do so. Until the next time, I'll talk to you. Take care. Rob, SOS Fragrance Reviews. Peace.